Hello, and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the 6th grade concept of area and volume. This is 6.8D Readiness Practice, the Proficient version. If you are interested in exploring the 6.8D Readiness Practice for the intermediate or advanced versions, or the Readiness Practice resource line with any other standard, you can find those by using the link in the video description. So we have a park with a triangular flower bed and a parallelogram shaped grassy area next to it. So let's just draw a triangle and let's just draw a parallelogram. Might not be drawn to scale. So the flower bed has got a base of 8 meters and a height of 6.2. So I didn't draw a right triangle. It didn't tell me what type it was. So I'm going to have to draw that height inside with a dotted line because it's not one of the sides. And then my grass area has a base of 10 meters and a height, same thing with the parallelogram. It's not one of the sides, so we need to draw the height perpendicular to the base, and it needs to be dotted line. All right, so what is the total area of both of those combined? Well, let's just multiply, right, and then just add. So my area of my triangle is going to equal 1/2 base times height. So that's 1/2 times 8 times 6.2. All right, I'm just going to take my half of 8, and that's going to be 4 times 6.2. I'll put the parentheses there so it's a little bit cleaner. So then let's just do that. 6.2 times 4, that's 8. 24. Bring my 1 digit behind the decimal down. Okay, so that is going to equal 24.8 square meter. And then let's get my area of a parallelogram a little bit more straightforward. It's just base times height. So that's 10 times 4.5. And if I multiply decimal by 10, I just move the decimal place over 1. So that's going to equal 45 square meters. All right, so let's just add those up. I've got 45 and I've got 24.8. So that's going to be 69 and 8/10 square meters. That is my area of the combined flower bed. So we'll put it in a green box. Second, we have a moving company, has a box that is packing books into. It's got a length and a width and the height. So let's just go ahead and kind of make a parallelogram like this. And we're going to make one that's identical to it. We're going to raise it above it, and then we're going to connect the dots here. And we've got ourselves a cube. And we've got a length of 1.2 meters, a width of 0.8 meters, and then a height of 0.5 meters. And then I've got 5 of these boxes. So I'm going to need to take all of this, and I'm going to need to multiply it by 5. So really, this is what I'm looking at. My volume is going to equal, right, my length times width times height. And so that's going to be 1.2 times 0.8 times 0.5. And then I need to multiply that by 5. So I'm just going to go ahead and just add that in there, because I know I need 5 of them. I'm looking for how many cubic meters of space the van can be used to pack books. It's going to be 5 of those. So let's put that in a different color here. But I might use that in my commutative property. I want to reorder because I actually want to multiply the 1.2 times the 5 first, because I know 5 times 12 is 60. So 1.2 times 5 is going to be 6.0, or just 6. So that ends up being 6 times 0.8 and 0.5. Well, 8 times 5 is 40. And I have 2 digits behind the decimal there, the 8 and the 5, so I need 2 digits behind the decimals, that's going to be 6 times 0.40 or 0.4. And then I know 6 times 4 is 24, so 1 digit behind the decimal, 2.4. And then we will say these are cubic meters. And that is how much space we have for boxes in the van. So third, we need to draw and write equations for 4 different shapes that have an area of 36 square inches. All right, so let's start simple. So if this is a square, then we are going to say the area of a square is going to be side times the side, right? So that's going to be 6 inches and then 6 inches. So that's one. That's the easiest one. We could do a rectangle. We could do several rectangles, but I only want to do one of those. We can say the area equals length times width, and this could be, let's call this 9. Let's call this 4. I'm looking for 2 factors that make 36. All right, now it's going to get a little bit trickier. I want to draw a triangle. And this time I'll draw a right triangle. And it means I can use the side as the height. Okay, so my area equals 1/2 base times height. All right, so what that means is my 36 inches, and so we're going to have to do a little bit of work on this one. 36 inches, that's the area I need, equals 1/2 base times height. So what I want to do is I want to use the multiplication property of equality. I want to get that 1/2 out of there. I want to multiply, I want to double both sides. Let's double both sides. So 2 times 36 is 72. The reason I want to do that is because 2 times the 1/2 cancels each other out. 2 times 1/2 just makes 1. So now instead of 36, I'm looking for 2 numbers. I'm looking for a base and a height that make 72. So that's what I'm looking for. So what makes 72? Well, I could do a 9 and an 8 if I wanted to. I could do a 6 and a 12. Let's do a 6 and a 12. So 6 inches, 12 inches. Now, let's plug that back in to make sure that we're correct. So area equals 1/2 6 times 12. I can take my 1/2 of 6, that's 3, times 12. There we go. Area equals 36. All right, so that checked out. I also can make a trapezoid. So that could be my 4th shape. Could do a parallelogram if we wanted to. Let's do a trapezoid. Now, a trapezoid is 1/2. Now I've got my base 1 plus my base 2 times the height. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do this 36 equals 1/2 base 1 plus base 2. So I know what my target bases and my heights are. I want to multiply everything by 2. All right, so let's just multiply everything by 2. And that's going to get me 72 equals this 1/2 and the 2 cancel out. So I've got my base 1 plus base 2 equals height. Okay, so I need these factors. Let's go ahead and make these factors kind of easy to deal with. And so let's make them, they need to multiply to 32. Right, let's make this one 9. Let's make this one 8. Okay, and that's, so I'm going to do a height right here, and I'm going to kind of do it out here because I kind of wrote on the inside there. I want to make that height 8 inches. Now, the two bases need to add up to 9. So we can do 4 and 5. We can do 6 and 3. But we could do it like that. So let's see if this works. Area equals 1/2 3 plus 6 times 8. I'm going to take my 1/2 times 8. It's going to be 4 times 9. Area equals 36. All right, so that checks. Now, obviously, These are what I came up with. You might come up with different ones, so answers may vary. If you're interested in exploring the 6.8D readiness practice for the intermediate or advanced versions, or the readiness practice resource line with any other standard, you can find those by using the link in the video description.